Hello everybody, this is Daniel and my beautiful wife Kelly here with another workout for you. Today we're going to be doing a 1,000-calorie workout to celebrate 2 million subscribers on YouTube. Absolutely fantastic. Thank you guys.
Thank you guys. So as a thank you, we're going to kick your butt with a 1,000-calorie workout. So we've included your cardio warm-up. We're going to be doing a brutal HIIT workout. We have total body strength training and an abs workout, and we've, of course, included your cool down and stretch as well. All you need is a set of dumbbells, but even if you don't have those, you can still get in an awesome workout.
So one thing to be aware of is Kelly and I will be switching back and forth between the harder and easier versions of these exercises. So if you want to go with the easier versions, follow the one who's doing the easier side. If you want to do the harder version, follow the one who's doing the harder side, or any combination thereof.
So let's go ahead and get started.
All right, let's go ahead and get started with our warm-up. We're doing each one of these for 25 seconds, correct?
No rest in between. So we're going to start off with arm swing steps. So nice and light. Start rocking back and forth, swinging those arms in front.
If you're standing next to someone, try not to whack them. We've had trouble with that before.
Let's see if we make it through this without smacking each other. I bet it happens at least once.
We'll probably just do it intentionally by the time we're done.
All right, in 5 more seconds, we're going to switch to a boxer shuffle. All right. So whatever you do, don't skip the warm-up because this workout is pretty intense. It's not as intense as a lot of our other shorter HIIT workouts, but you still need to make sure that you do a warm-up. Otherwise, you're looking at pulling muscles and really not being able to work as hard as you could if you did do a good warm-up.
Right. And it's more important to get your blood flowing around your system. Once it's flowing around your system more efficiently, you've opened up all your capillaries, you can actually get a more efficient workout and a stronger workout. So warm-ups aren't just for trying to prevent injury, they're also for improving overall function. Alright, so now we're doing a Buttkicker of Row. Sorry, I kind of talked through that one. So just swing one leg up as close to your butt as you can, rowing those hands back and forth, working against yourself in both directions.
Alright, next up we're doing toe touch kicks, so alternating. Those feet up there. If you can't reach all the way, just do the best as you can. You can always hold on to something for balance too if you need to.
Try to keep that leg as straight as you can, try to bring it up as high as you can, and try to keep it a relatively controlled swing.
Alright, 5 seconds to crossover toe taps. 2, 1, so plant your feet, you're coming down to tap your toe, and then come back up. Your back flat.
So that back stays flat, you don't want to round your back, but you do want to rotate your shoulders slightly.
Right, next up we have 3 twist knees. So 3 torso twists plus a knee. So 1, 2, on the third one, bring that knee up to the opposite elbow.
So this one requires a little bit of brain power.
Alright, next one is an up and over step. So this is the first time we're going to be showing you a low impact modification. So watch Daniel for that one. Otherwise, you're going up, pretend like you're jumping over something, then just tap your foot, hop back the other side.
So like Kelly said, I'm doing the easier version. She's doing the harder version. If you can do the if you can't do the harder version, by all means do that one instead. But if you have a little bit of issue with high impact exercises on your knees, then slow it down.
Alright, next up we're doing windmill squats, which Daniel informed me is stupid because a windmill doesn't do this, but I don't care.
I wanted to call it a jack squat, but she didn't like that idea.
I thought that if you don't know jack squat, you don't do jack squat. So if you are, again, this is not a beginner routine, but if you have knee problems and you're looking to work around it, you can always keep your squats nice and shallow, so never go to the point where you feel pain.
Alright, next one.
Alternating lunges plus pushes.
So again, you're trying to work against your body here. It's not just a nice slow motion with those arms. You're actually working against your body, pushing and pulling with your chest and rhomboids, chest and upper back.
Alright, next up we're doing butt kickers. So again, watch Daniel for the low impact version. There you go.
Sorry. So low impact version, same thing as the fast version, but you're basically moving that motion's just a little bit slower. You're just kind of slowly rocking your weight back and forth.
All right, 5 seconds. We're gonna switch to switch foot knees. All right, so we're going up, back, and switch feet. Now
If you're-
go. Sorry.
Sorry, easier version again, just take out the jump. Nice slow step back and forth.
All right, fly jacks next. So in front, low impact, right here.
Make Kelly do the low impact this time. So keep those lungs open, keep those arms nice and rigid, those legs nice and rigid. Again, you're working against yourself in both directions. You're not just swinging those arms in that motion.
All right, now jumping jacks. So
Again, Kelly's doing the easier version, or low impact version.
you can also make it harder. Start to sink lower. Your knees. Move faster. All right, 5 seconds left and we're done with the cool down. Warm up, sorry, I wish.
And we're done.
Ouch, okay. So we'll be right back starting into that HIIT workout.
All right, so we've got our HIIT portion coming up next. This one, we have 7 different individual groups of 2 different exercises. We're going to be doing it in an AABB pattern twice through. So an AABB, AABB.
And it's 20 seconds on, 10 seconds rest for each group.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to be alternating back and forth which one of us is showing the harder exercise. I'm going to start off with the hardest one first, and we're doing jumping jack squats. So I'm going to drop down and do a jack squat, come up and do a jumping jack.
For the easier version, you're doing a slow jumping jack with one leg at a time. Squat down, one leg, stand back up, opposite leg, squat back down, same leg. So just keep it going nice and slow for that lower impact version.
Alright, there's one done. So this is an active rest. Your feet are moving the whole time.
Same exercise over again.
And here we go, round 2. Oops. There's one. Drop down to the lowest squat as you can handle. Pop those out.
Sorry.
Feet apart. There's 2.
All right, next one is going to be plyo push-ups. So we're dropping down on the ground on this one. I'll be doing the harder version. Kelly will be doing the easier version. So it's an explosive move. You're going to drop down and try to get as much height off the ground as you can.
So if you're looking for the even easier version, just do a regular push-up. 5 seconds. There you go.
All right, short little break. We're going to do that same exact exercise over again.
5 seconds. Take some deep breaths while you can. All right.
All right, start it up.
Slipping. 5 seconds. Whew. All right, back up. That jumping jack squat yet? Next.
All right, so I'm going to be back to the easier version. Kelly's going to be doing the harder version.
Here we go.
Start him up.
Whew. I feel my arms already from this push-ups. Feeling a little noodly. Three, 2, 1. Okay, quick break.
Back that boxer shuffle if you can. Otherwise, just keep those feet moving. Just never completely stop. And again.
Try to move as fast as you can.
Just focus on that form.
3, 2, 1. That was 2, right?
Yep. Back down. The last 2 rounds of those plyo push-ups, and we'll move to a new group. If you stop getting much distance off the ground with that plyo push-up, go ahead and switch to a half. You want to try to get that explosion as best you can.
Ouch. Oh.
One more. Yeah, that makes those arms go noodly pretty quick.
It does. 2,
right.
1. That's good.
Last round.
You're working hard. Whatever you need to, take a quick break and then just get right back into it as soon as you can.
Whew. All right, back up.
Okay.
Next group. So 2 new exercises. First one's going to be a round of applause.
Okay, follow me for the harder version. Here we go. So drop down, tap your feet together, come up, clap the top and the bottom.
For the easier version or low impact version, you're taking a jump out and you're just doing the full motion with your body. Try to squat down as low as you can. If you can't quite get all the way down to the ground, that's perfectly fine. Just go down as low as is comfortable and then pick a leg up and kick it back so if you can't get those hands all the way down.
3, 2, there we go.
All right. Like I said, if you can't get those hands all the way down, just kick a leg back standing on one foot. Just go down into that squat as low as is comfortable. All right, high knees are next. I'll be doing the full version. Kelly will be doing the half.
5 seconds. Here we go.
Drive those knees nice and quick. If you're doing the slower version, the low impact, focus on driving that knee as high as you can rather than as fast as you can.
Seconds. There's a break.
Keep those lungs open. Breathe as deeply
3,
as you can.
2, 1. Here we go. Go. 10 seconds. Halfway through. 3, 2, 1.
All right.
One more through.
Back to a round of applause.
Here we go. Halfway already. 5 seconds.
Recover as best you can. Got one more round. A round of applause.
Here we go. Halfway. Yes.
All right. Back to those high knees. Harder version for me. Low impact with Kelly.
Here we go. So we decided to alternate back and forth this time because while these workouts last about 80 minutes for you guys, it takes us like 4 to 5 hours to film it. So it makes for a very long period of being really active. So it helps for us to split it up. Right. One more of those?
One more.
3, 2, 1. Here we go. Go as fast as you can, as hard as you can. Five seconds. 2, 1. All right, now our next group, before we get a little water break, it's going to be 3 heel taps plus a drop. I'm going to be doing the harder version. Watch Daniel for the easy version. Here we go. So 1, 2, 3, down. Try to land on your feet nice and soft, but jump up as high as you can. Okay. How you doing?
Pretty good. Those high knees took it out of me pretty quick.
Yeah, I bet. That's what they're good for. Here we go. 1, 2, 3.
As you can see, my motion is quite a bit different than what Kelly's doing. But to take that jump out of it, take that impact out of it for that knee, you need to modify it quite a bit. All right, we're moving on to the next one.
Power
This
lunge
is a
skip.
power lunge skip. I'll be doing the harder version. Kelly will be doing low impact.
You're staying on one leg the first time through.
Back into a reverse lunge, and then drive it up, staying on that same leg like Kelly said.
So if you want to, if your balance is good enough, you can also come up and into a calf raise. But if your balance is struggling, don't worry about that part.
All right, we're gonna be switching legs for this next round.
3, 2, 1.
Just keep it going.
2, 1.
All right.
Make sure it's heel taps plus drops. 2, 1. Here we go.
If you can, just because you're doing the lower impact version, doesn't mean you have to go really slow. You can always work that motion a little bit faster.
Whew.
All right, one more of those. 5 seconds.
2, 1. Here we go. That's halfway.
All right.
Oh my goodness. Okay,
Back to that
one more
power
minute of
lunge
work.
skip.
2, 1.
Just keep breathing. There's our last one. We get a water break after this. All right, same thing on the other leg.
5 seconds. Here we go. So the other thing, if your balance is suffering, stop right here. And then come up. Down, lunge, up, knee, down, lunge.
All right, keep those feet moving. I'm gonna take a little bit of a short break, go grab a drink of water real quick. We'll be right back to do the rest of this hip portion. All right, let's go ahead and get ready for our second round of HIIT here. Our first exercise is going to be a star jump plus a lunge. You're alternating between those two motions. I'll be doing the harder, Kelly's doing easier. So star jump, and then a reverse lunge. Star jump, and then reverse lunge on the other side.
So if you're with me, you're just cutting out the jump. Similar motion, but you're balancing on one leg instead of jumping upwards. 5 seconds.
All right, another round of those.
3, 2, 1. There we go.
Anything with star jumps in it is inherently evil. So you just gotta go to your happy place, focus on that form, and just get them done.
1. All right. Next up we're doing a plank jack plus a knee. So I'm going to be doing the harder version and a full plank, and Daniel's going to show you the half version. So weight in hands and toes. So plank jack and then knee up. Alternating which knee goes up each time.
So for the easier version, it's just 1 foot at a time, out, in, and then bring that knee up. And same thing on the other side.
2, 1. All right. Rest.
It's pretty bad when those seem like a rest.
Yeah, no kidding, right? Here we go. Suck in your core the best you can. Try to keep your back flat.
Hips low, nice straight line from shoulder to ankle. If you're doing the low impact version with me, try to get that foot out as wide as you can.
All right. After the star jump reverse lunges. 3, 2, 1. Here we go.
Try to get a nice big explosion jump at the top. Arms and legs out nice and wide. And try to get down that lunge nice and deep in the back.
Okay, just one more of those. You're doing a good job.
Thanks, so are you.
Here we go. Start it up.
So half of these exercises, especially these jumping ones, is trying to lessen that impact as much as you can by doing a slow recoil with that jump. Is that 2 of those?
Yep.
So the push-ups?
I think
the
so.
planks? Yeah.
I might be lying.
I'm trying to do the harder one already.
Yeah.
Alright, nice slow motion like I said last time. Try to get that foot out as wide as you can to make it as hard as possible. And try to keep those hips down nice and low so it's in line.
Alright, one more of
If
these.
you want an active rest, you can always hold your plank through your rest period.
If you're glutton for punishment.
Halfway.
All right.
Alright, what's next? Squat jump plus knee. These are kind of fun. Kind of. 2, 1. Alright, so squat jump, immediately come back up with a knee. So kind of sneakily, you're doing a lot more work on one side of the body when you're coming up from that squat on one leg. Especially if you focus on making a fluid motion. Sorry.
That's alright. My apologies. Alright, back to that boxer shuffle if you can get there, otherwise walking in place. One more round, that squat jump knee. If you're doing the low impact version with me, it's just a nice deep squat as low as is comfortable on those knees and hips, and then drive that knee up as high as possible. Keep in mind, if you have things like arthritis Moving those joints is good. Just make sure you talk to your doctor about how much is okay as far as
Always.
range of motion.
All right, next up we have burpees.
All right, I'll be doing a full burpee. Try to keep them nice and quick. If you want to take the jump out of it at the top, that's perfectly fine. If you're a real glutton for punishment, you can always throw a push-up in at the bottom.
2, 1.
All right, just keep moving.
So if you're just easy for you, you can always make the rest harder by doing high knees, burpees. Just make it work for you. There's always ways to make things easier and harder.
If you ever say that one of our workouts isn't hard enough for you, then you're just not creative enough to make it hard.
Yeah.
Or you're not pushing yourself hard enough. So, always modify as needed. And that doesn't necessarily always mean down, that means up as well.
Yeah.
Are we starting back over?
Yep. Here we go. I see people say that every now and again, that something was too easy. Especially with the weightlifting stuff. I mean, it's not rocket science. Check your form and lift heavier. If it's not hard, it means you're not working hard enough. Especially at home workouts, you know, no one's watching. There's no one there to push you.
That's right.
You are solely responsible for challenging yourself, which is a good thing. I think it's good to have to connect with yourself and decide that something is hard, but you're going to do it anyway.
Yeah, it takes a lot of discipline to force yourself to do something your body's constantly telling you don't want to do, because that's how your body's programmed. It doesn't want to have to do physical activity, it doesn't have to. So you should feel proud of yourself every single time you get a workout done, no matter how small.
Those workout completes are no small deal.
Yeah. All right, what are we doing? Burpees. Forgot to talking.
Sure you did. I'm surprised it didn't take you about 20 seconds to remember.
Wait, what's a burpee again? Hold on just a second.
Easy for me to say that way.
Yeah.
In the light version of them.
All right, one more round of those. Then we switch to our next group.
We're already halfway through the second part of HIIT.
Well, we will be after this one.
After this. About 5 seconds left. All right. Next up we have reverse lunge, toe tap, X jump. So it's a mouthful. It's way more simple than it looks. So we're going back into a reverse lunge, toe tap, come up and hop out. Like an X with your arms and legs.
Sorry, I gotta get my brain around this one again. So it's just one leg at a time. You go back into that lunge, foot comes out. Same thing on the other side.
5 seconds. About 5 seconds. All right. Okay.
All right, sumo squat kicks are next. Nice deep squat with those feet really nice and wide apart, toes point out slightly. Squat down, and as you come up, one leg comes up and over a nice arc.
The easier version is to keep your leg lower, obviously. So just do whatever you need to. Otherwise, go for up and over, as round of a kick as you can.
All right, one more round of those.
Down. 3, 2, 1. Here we go, guys.
Like I said, toes pointed out slightly. Nice deep squat down the middle, as low as is comfortable. And a nice big high sweeping motion with that leg. Make sure it's under control though. It's not an uncontrolled kick. It's a slow, controlled swing.
1. Right, back to those reverse lunge X jumps.
And you'll be able to demonstrate them a little bit better this time.
It happens. That's part of the challenge. So don't feel bad.
Which just goes to show you, it doesn't matter if you mess up. Just keep going until you get it right. Don't stop and get frustrated with yourself. That's pointless. Just keep moving.
I think that people are way too hard on themselves when it comes to exercising.
Yeah.
Like, I feel silly when I do this, I look stupid when I do this, but you can't talk to yourself like that. It just makes for a really negative, unpleasant experience as a whole. We mess up all the time in front of the world.
Yeah.
It happens.
And if you feel silly exercising, how silly do you feel when you walk up a flight of stairs?
Yeah.
It's like 3 steps and you're huffing and puffing.
Yeah, it's not a good feeling.
You gotta be proud of yourself.
Not that that's something you should be ashamed of either. Everybody
No.
starts somewhere.
Alright, sumo squat.
Oh, are we there already?
Yeah, I thought so. Did you do 2 of those? Maybe not. Am I jumping the gun?
Maybe. It's okay. We'll get there. We'll make something up if we have to.
If I cut one out, you can thank me later.
Three, 2, 1, go.
Keep those lungs open. All right, last group.
Yep. Step through lunges.
All right.
So these look relatively similar no matter what level you're doing. The difference is that you're going to do a more shallow step if you are...
And you're staying on one leg. Make sure you're just doing the same motion on one leg over and over again. We'll switch for the next round.
So you can also, instead of going from front to back, you can stop in the center, gain your balance, start again. So remember which leg you just used, we're using the opposite one.
Don't want to double up.
It's, once you get tired, it's kind of hard to tell.
Yeah.
Like,
Carbohydrate starts getting low, your brain stops working, which is exactly why we don't promote low carbohydrate diets. You gotta have that carbohydrate to keep that brain working. And hard workout, hard physical activity is a great example of how that brain will try to shut down on you once it starts getting low on carbs.
Right. Next up we have setter jacks. So this is a really good example of your brain having to engage. So these are really awkward, but that's part of the problem, part of the benefit. Sorry. 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So you're breaking that jumping jack incrementally. Once you get the hang of it, pick up the pace.
Yeah, that's a brain teaser right there. Especially when the
limbs
person next to you is doing completely
Yeah.
different timing.
So these last couple intervals have been easier, if you've noticed, because we're about to go into an abs workout. So we're slowly slowing our heart rate a little bit, at least, from some of those earlier, really intense intervals.
All right, you got another round of each of these exercises.
Here we go.
Keep those lungs open, keep that form clean. Nice smooth motion. Slow down if you need to, if you're having trouble with balance.
3, 2, 1.
Opposite leg.
More room. Five seconds. All right, last minute of hit here. We're doing those stutter jacks again. 3, 2, 1. Here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2. And then speed it up. Sorry.
All right, one more of those.
Two, 1. Here we go. Five seconds.
All right.
Right.
Keep those feet moving. We're gonna take a little bit of a break. We'll be right back. Starting to abs, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. See you in just a second. All right, everybody, we're going to be starting into our abs portion next. The only thing you should really need for this is your body. If you want an exercise mat, you can always use one of those. Otherwise, if you're on like a carpet or something like that, that should be plenty of cushion enough. So, you ready?
Yeah, so we're doing 50 seconds on, 10 seconds rest. This is targeting the abs, obliques, and lower back, and it's a kind of a burnout. So if you do need to stop and take a rest, feel free to do that, but otherwise go as long as you can with good form before you do stop and take that rest. So, let's go ahead and get started. We're starting off with a single leg jackknife. We're bringing one hand up to meet one foot. So,
Check
arms
those
up
abs,
above your head.
lower back on the ground, crunch it up. Just go at your own pace. You don't have to move as quickly as us. You can go more slowly if you'd like. Just keep those lungs open. Make sure you don't hold your breath. A lot of times when you're really, really heavily engaging your core muscles, your abs especially, you're going to have a tendency you want to hold your breath. Keep it open. It'll make those abs have to work harder as well as that diaphragm. Nice, slow, controlled motion. Make sure you're not kicking that leg out of control.
Two, 1. All right, now flip over. Next, we are doing swimmers. So now we're going to get the lower back as well. You don't want to work your abs without working your back as well. So one arm and one foot, and you can rest them each like this, or like Daniel's showing, you can pick it up faster and not rest either on the ground.
Try to keep those arms and legs nice and straight. No bending your knees and kicking those legs. You want those legs out, almost locking those knees and elbows. And remember, it's alternating your left arm and right foot together. So that left arm and right foot come up at the same time, and then that right arm, left foot come up at the same time.
About 15 seconds left. So you can tell this is obviously working not only your back, but also your thighs, your butt, and your upper body a little bit too. Really squeeze, and you can feel that in those glutes too. All right, next up we're doing a toe tap plus a reach, so flip back over. So keeping your feet on the ground and your back flat, we're going to be tapping each ankle and then going up in the center. So tap one side, tap the other, now crunch in the center, and then reverse that, so you're tapping the other ankle first this next time. And just keep it going.
So you're focusing on getting a little bit of a contraction through those abdominal muscles to pull yourself up a little bit, then a really good squeeze on those obliques to move left and right, and then a tighter squeeze on those abs coming up in the center.
I like this one.
Yeah, this is good.
Two, one. All right. Next up, have push-up holds. So Daniel's going to show you the harder version.
So full plank position for the harder version. A 1 to 3 second hold on your back with a single arm, and then switch over. So the key with this one is trying to make sure that you don't rotate those hips too much. You're going to have to shift your weight, but you don't want to open your hips up. You want to keep your hips facing down towards the ground, make those abs really have to work hard.
Keep a slight bend in your elbow so that your upper body is also having to work. If you lock out your elbow, you won't get as much chest and shoulder work. We got about 10 seconds left. Five seconds. All right, so flat on your stomach. Next up, we're doing back bow pulls. So arms outstretched. Then you're going to come up with your upper and lower body and then squeeze your shoulder blades together.
Try to get a nice high, tight squeeze. Those arms and legs. Come up with those arms and legs locked out first. Squeeze and hold, and then draw those elbows back, squeezing those shoulder blades together. Slowly push it back out to a full extension. Back down, rest if you need to. Otherwise, keep it hovering if you want a really hard version.
20 seconds left.
Again, keep those lungs open. No holding your breath.
About 5 seconds left. All right. Next up, we're doing side hip raises. So there's two different ways you can do this. I'll show the easier version. Daniel's got the harder version. Otherwise.
So harder version is a full extension of those legs. You can either keep those feet staggered for it's a little bit easier for balance, or stack them one on top of the other. You want to try to draw that hip up while pulling your shoulder down towards that hip. So you're trying to kind of crunch sideways with that bottom oblique.
Over halfway. Make sure you're not holding your breath. Got about 10 seconds left. All right, now switch sides.
So try to match left and right. So if you were like me and you switched halfway through, you want to make sure you switch at the same time. Trying to even it out as much as you can. Again, keep those lungs open, drawing that shoulder down towards that hip on the bottom side, really focusing on that oblique on the bottom side. Feet stacked for the harder version, staggered for a little extra work or a little extra help on balance. Or drop down onto those knees like Kelly for the easier version.
10 seconds. Two, one. All right, now we're going to bird dog pulls. So on all fours, we're going to be lifting an arm and a leg at the same time, and then pulling them inward, squeezing. So extend, and then draw back in. Switch sides. So you'll notice that even when we are working the abs. The abs are not the only muscle group working. And honestly, this whole routine, all of that HIIT workout we just did, and the strength training routine that's next, it's so much better for your core and your abs than any kind of isolated abs exercise could ever do for you. Between the calorie burn and just the way it works all of your muscles in the body, it's way more effective than crunches. And these exercises are way better than just isolation exercises as well. 5 seconds. All right. I have a reclined oblique twist or reclined oblique crunch. So straighten your legs out. So alternating back and forth, one leg at a time to make it easier. If you want to make it much harder, do what Daniel's doing with both feet coming up off the ground. And if you aren't feeling very flexible, you can always bend at the knee so you can get your arm or your leg up there if keeping it straight is a big discomfort to you.
Try to keep that leg motion under control. Don't just let those feet drop. Whew.
Right. Next, crossover toe touch. So feet up in the air, just like a toe touch, but we're going on the outside of our ankles. So we're getting in more of the obliques, recruiting more muscles to get up there.
Ooh, man, that is already burning. Try to keep those quadriceps locked out, or those legs locked out. Using those quadriceps as much as you can. It's like Kelly said, you're reaching towards the outside of your ankle rather than straight forward. So you're getting a rotation through your shoulders. Whew.
Alright, that's it already for the abs part. So go ahead and grab your weights and we will move into that total body strength routine before we go into our cool down and stretch.
We'll see you in just a second. All right, everybody, let's go ahead and get started with our strength portion of this. This is our last difficult part before we get our stretch cool down and we're done. So let's get it over with. We are doing an AB pattern on exercises. We've got, 4 different groups to go through. And we're going to be doing, like I said, AB. We got 8 repetitions per exercise, 2 sets of each exercise or each group as we go through. So our first one is a lateral raise plus a curtsy lunge.
So we'll be telling you how much weight we're lifting each time, which is in no way a suggestion of what you should lift. It's just a guide. You're going to want to lift on your own strengths and weaknesses, and you're looking for a weight that you can maintain proper form, and you're supposed to be getting really tired. Those muscles are really burning, almost giving out on you without your form suffering by those last 2 repetitions. So in this case, repetitions 7 and 8 especially should be very difficult to complete. So
remember, after doing so much HIIT and ab work beforehand, your overall strength level is going to be diminished, so don't expect yourself to be able to do what you normally do with just a strength routine.
Yeah.
So
I'm going to be using 4 pounds per hand with this first one. We're doing lateral raises and curtsy lunges.
And I'm going to be doing 10 pounds per hand. It's the handle with extra slugs in there. So.
All right, you ready?
Yep.
Here we go.
So one foot kind of kicks back behind the other. If you've ever seen someone do a curtsy before, that's pretty much the exact motion you're trying to duplicate. Just adding in that arm motion, that lateral raise along with it. Hope you're counting.
This is 8. Right there. You want to do it on both sides?
No.
You good? All right. So next up, we're doing a deadlift plus a fly. So again, this is a combination move. We're doing both muscle groups at the same time here. So you're going to be lifting a lot lighter than you would for a normal deadlift. So because of the fly, I'm going to be using 4 pounds per hand.
I'm using 10 again.
Okay.
So drop straight over in a deadlift. Nice flat back. Arms come up and out to the side in that fly. Slowly control them back down. Right back up to a full standing position.
So this, like we were mentioning before, you're going to be lifting a lot lighter than normal after that HIIT workout probably, and that's totally normal. That's why these 1,000-calorie workouts are something special. They are somewhat of an endurance, no, they're definitely an endurance challenge, and it's why you don't want to do them every day, because it's important to lift just strength workout as well, so that you're lifting as heavily as you can to challenge your muscles. And this isn't the instance where you do that necessarily. This is more, like I said, an endurance challenge. So mixing workouts like this one that really just take you to the limit and
one more.
Work you really hard in all your muscle groups in all kinds of different ways, combined with ones that do specifically focus on just strength or just cardio, would make for a really well-rounded routine. Actually, I'm sticking with this weight anyway.
Back to that lateral raise. Curtsy lunge. You ready?
Mm-hmm. Ready? And this is kind of a double whammy in that sense, because we're doing upper and lower at the same time. You're limited by the strength of your weakest muscle. So like we just told you with that deadlift fly, obviously you're going to be using a lot lighter weight because of the fly than you would normally for a deadlift. But again, that's why it's important to combine total body routines with singular upper or lower body routines, so you can have those workouts where you push each muscle group to the max, as well as use them in unison, because that's important too.
Yes. All right, last round of those deadlift flies, and we'll move on to our next group. So flat back, bend over, arms up and out to the side, nice slow controlled motion, back to that full standing position. Keep those lungs open, nice slow controlled motion, up and out to the side, right back up. So really focus on keeping that back perfectly flat and keeping those glutes contracted nice and tight. A little bit of a squeeze up the top. Try to get the most out of it, because you're going to be using a little bit less weight than you would normally use for a deadlift, of course.
There's 5. And honestly, we've touched on all of these muscle groups already so much that even with a light weight, you can hear those muscles talking to you when you're using them. So it is a really good time to focus on form, and you should really still feel it. Is this our last one? Right.
Nice. All right.
Okay, so next up, we have an alternating clean and press. So we're going to be dropping the weight in between each repetition, so you're sneaking in a full squat as well as that clean and press.
So we're just doing 4 per hand, but 8 total squats.
Okay, ready? Here we go.
So this is a good opportunity to use a pretty decent amount of weight, get those legs into it, and really use that form properly, take that snap to get that weight up. Is that 4 total right there?
So this is one exercise where you are kind of intentionally cheating, like Daniel said, and that you're using those leg muscles that pop to get the weight up there instead of your upper body. One more on each side.
Last one.
Alright. So next up, we're doing a plank push-up with a close row and a tricep kickback. So again, one that sounds a lot more complicated than it actually is. So I'm going to drop down into the hardest form of a push-up you can manage.
So you're going to be doing that push-up off of the handle of your dumbbell. So if you have round dumbbells that you're using at home, you will want to you're going to have to use a lot more control through your shoulder to keep those dumbbells underneath you. Be very careful.
Okay,
if you got
ready?
square ones, you're fine.
Alright, so get up in your push-up. You're going to drop down for your push-up. Come back up for a close row, and kick back the tricep. So Daniel's showing the harder version and a full push-up, and if you want to make it easier, just drop to your knees. There's halfway. think I forgot to mention I'm lifting 8 pounds per hand. Sorry, that's late.
And I'm using 15.
So we'll put this is always in text on our website. So anytime you see this on YouTube, follow the link to our website and you'll get all of this information and a lot more.
One more on the other side.
Alright.
Alright, back to that clean and press.
So I'm using 16 pounds for this one.
Trying to cheat. Alright, I'm using 35.
Okay, you ready?
Yep.
Here we go.
Keep those lungs open. This is a nice quick snap with a flat back. Once you get it up to that shoulder position, that rack position, you do a little bit of a quarter squat with a nice quick pop to get it up the rest of the way.
That's halfway. One on each side. Last one.
All right.
Alright. I'm dropping down to 4 per hand for this next round.
And I'm dropping down to 10 per hand. Those muscles are nice and tired from all that work through the HIIT routine, so they're petering out pretty quick.
Okay, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. So push up, come up for a close row, and then extend. Make each movement deliberate. No swinging, no momentum. Just 3. One more on each side. Yeah?
Mm-hmm. Alright, sorry, that was 6 right there, so we got one more on each side now.
Ooh.
Unless I'm counting wrong.
Maybe.
Alright.
Okay. Alright, next group. We have a reverse lunge plus a knee and an overhead press. So I'm going to grab 12 pounds for this in the first round of this.
I'm going to be
12 pounds
using
per hand.
20 pounds per hand.
Alright, do we have room? We
Yeah,
good?
sure.
Alright, so we're dropping back into a reverse lunge. Come back here. Come up with your knee, and as you do, go into an overhead press. Now switch sides. There's 2.
Ooh, should have used less weight.
One more on each side. You can always drop the weight. If you feel your form start to suffer, definitely drop the weight. Alright.
Ooh, that's a burn.
Yeah. Okay, next up we're doing goblet squat curls. So I'm going to use 16 pounds in one hand for this.
And I'm going to be using 40 pounds in one hand.
Alright. So, holding your weight up in front of your chest to start. You're going to squat down, extend the arms, come up, and curl once you get to the top. One fluid motion.
Keep that back perfectly flat.
There's 3. 2 more. Last one. Oh.
All right.
So sweaty. So when you do strength supersets back to back to back like this, it kind of turns into a cardio routine of its own again, with such little rest time or no rest time.
All right. I'm dropping mine down to 15 on this next round.
I'm gonna try and stay at 12. See how this goes. All right, you ready? You going forward?
I believe so.
Okay, here we go. So reverse lunge, come up, knee, and overhead press.
Yep, forgot the knee.
It's okay.
And as you can see, Kelly and I are doing slightly different versions of our press. Her elbows are in slightly more than mine, a close press. My elbows are out nice and wide for a wide press. Is it one on each side?
Yeah.
Whoa.
All right, one more round of that goblet squat.
If you need to, take a little extra time between these sets. If you need to let those arms rest a little bit more, it's perfectly fine.
Always hit the pause button.
Yeah, you don't have to kill yourself. Ready?
Mm-hmm. All right, here we go.
Now you're going to want to have a bit of a tendency to swing that dumbbell up with the end of that squat motion. So kind of like this. Take your time and do separate motions. So pause at the top for that squat, then curl, so you don't put any momentum into it, to make sure those biceps are doing 100% of that work.
One more. Right. One more set left. So ski squat plus a ventral raise.
Oh. I'm going to try a little extra weight on this one, but I don't think so.
No, not so much.
All right, so I'm using a handle, which is 10 pounds with the slugs in it.
I've got 4 pounds per hand.
Ski squat is feet really nice and close together, inside shoulder width even. So his feet as close together as is comfortable. You're going to squat straight down.
Press back up through your heels.
And in front. If you want, you can go all the way over top of your head, or you can stop shoulder height, whichever is more comfortable to you. Just make sure you get that rotation through that hand that you need to get that full range of motion.
There's halfway. Two more. Last one. All right. So now we're doing a pullover press plus a bridge. I think Daniel's going to use 2 weights, and I'm using just one. So we're going to show 2 slightly different ways on how to do this. I'm using 16 pounds and 1 weight.
And I'm using 20 pounds per hand. 2 weights with this one. Ooh.
So you're going to want to drop down. You're good? Uh-huh. And press up into a bridge. So you're firing up those glutes and thighs and lower back as well. Get the weight straight up, out over your chest. And you're dropping down, not resting on the ground, but dropping down and bring it right back up to over your chest. And then lower for a close press.
So his elbows stay tucked in really nice and close for that close press. Basically shoulder width apart. You see those
2
dumbbells will track right over top of that elbow. So they'll drop down kind of over top of that base of that rib cage as you drop those elbows.
So while you're doing this, make sure your hips are going to start sinking on you because those muscles are tired. So try to remember to get them up. Remind yourself not to let yourself slack. Press up through those heels and make that butt and thighs work as well. That's 5.
Mm-hmm.
I like how that's more of a question than anything. Last one.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Okay.
Back to a ski squat.
Okay, this is our last set of these two. So close to the cool down. I like this part.
All right, feet nice and close together.
Ready?
Let's start them up. Straight up in front. Those palms facing down towards the ground, or you can have those palms facing in towards each other. Just hits a slightly different part of that shoulder. Just make sure you keep it consistent.
Halfway. So last one. All right, last strength set. I'm gonna drop down to 12 this time.
I'm still using my 20.
This floor is covered in sweat now. Okay, so kick up into that bridge and start up your first repetition.
Keep those lungs open. Keep those hips up.
Last one.
Okay. All right, that is the last one of our strength exercises, which means we need to start into our cool down and stretch. So each one of these, we're just be kind of running through this as we feel fit as far as what needs to be stretched out, kind of freestyle it, no specific time, but we're shooting for roughly between like 20 seconds or so, like 15, 20 seconds of hold for each one of these stretches. All right, where do you want to start?
Let's start toe touches, like toe touch circles.
Okay.
I always like this one. It feels so good on your back and thighs, the backs of your thighs after a good strength session on the lower body.
If you give a little bit of a lean to the top, you can get a little bit of oblique and ab stretch as well.
All right, what's next?
Let's go do some legs, so maybe like a standing quad stretch.
Okay. Sounds good to me.
So we'll do this one leg at a time. Leg kick back straight behind you. If you need to grab a hold of the back of a chair or lean up against the wall for balance, that's fine. Try to use it as little as possible though, because just because this is a stretch doesn't mean you shouldn't stop working.
It is hard though. After a workout this long, your balance is like, yeah, I'm out. Okay.
Switch
sides.
If you've got a partner next to you, you can just lean on them, make them do all the work.
Or push them over.
Make your partner have to work harder. And let that one relax.
Let's do an inside thigh stretch.
Sounds good to me.
Actually, grab your hand, your arm while you're at it and pull it across your chest so you feel a nice stretch through the back of your arm here.
Back of arm, and you should feel across your shoulder blade a little bit as well. So pull across in front of that chest, keep it as nice and close as you can. Lean back.
towards your straight leg. You should feel it in the inside thigh of that straight leg, and back of your arm, back of your shoulder.
All right, switch sides.
So again, leaning towards that straight leg, pulling that arm across as close to your chest as you can. Just breathing normally, keeping those lungs open. I'm sure you guys probably get sick and tired of us saying keeping your lungs open, but it's very important because your body will try to...
It's so easy to hold your breath.
Yeah.
Especially when you're working hard.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's do a wide toe touch with your hands clasped behind your back so you get a good shoulder stretch out of this as well.
And so Kelly can show off how much more flexible she is than me.
Everybody starts somewhere. You're really flexible for a dude, actually.
I work at it. Not as much as I should, as I'm sure a lot of you would agree.
Yeah.
Let that
Relax. Let's do an overhead tricep.
Yeah. Let's go into a hip flexor stretch while we're at it.
Good.
Combine them. Get more efficient.
So a little bit of forward lunge. Get a stretch to that rear leg by kind of leaning back into it a little bit. And then tricep stretch by grabbing that elbow, pulling across, and reaching back towards that same shoulder as hand.
Okay, switch sides. Oh, it's hot in here.
Yeah, we got a late start today, so it's the hottest part of the day in a metal roof building.
It's probably like almost 80 degrees in here.
Yeah, it gets pretty
It's
toasty,
like,
especially with all these lights on too.
All right. And next.
Let's do an arm chest stretch, or
That's a good
a
idea.
chest stretch, yeah. So hand up against a wall or against a door frame, fingers facing back behind you, rotate away from that arm, that hand. Should feel it across the front of your chest. If you're feeling it too much in your bicep, just roll that arm so your bicep is kind of facing forward and you should feel it more in your chest. If you want to feel it more in your bicep, sorry, that was the other way around. If you want to feel it more in your bicep, lean it forward, that elbow forward, so you can stretch out that
That's
bicep
good.
a little bit more. Same thing on the other side. Rotate around. That hand should be just about shoulder height. Try to bring it any higher or lower than that to get a good stretch. If you want to feel more of a stretch to your forearm, you can actually push forward, sorry, backward, there you go, on that forearm a little bit more. So you're kind of walking away from that hand a little bit.
All
All
right, let's
right.
go into want to do a downward dog?
Sure.
Do a little walking for the calves when we're here. So if you kind of pedal your feet back and forth while you're in this position, you can get a good calf stretch. Just alternate pulling each heel to the ground.
So if you get really tight hamstrings, you might want to keep those knees bent slightly or push up on those toes a little bit more just to get into that position a little bit easier. You want to try to keep a straight line from wrist to hip and from hip to ankle.
All right.
Sit down and do a butterfly.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go ahead and sit down on the ground. Those feet come together, soles of those feet together, pull them in as close as is comfortable. Using the muscles to the outside of your thigh, pull those legs down out towards the ground. Keep that back nice and flat. If you want to get a little extra help out of it, you can always push down with those hands, but it's a little bit better if you just use those muscles to pull down. Get kind of a double effect that way. Scoot those feet out just a little bit. We'll stretch that hip next, so lean straight forward. Again, keep that back perfectly flat. You should feel it down inside that hip socket. So just lean forward as far as is comfortable, keeping a flat back.
You know, kick your legs all the way out and reach for those toes.
So be careful when you're doing a regular seated toe touch, because you're, depending on where you're most flexible through your hamstring, you might rock your feet in. I know that's where I'm most flexible, as opposed to keeping them flat or rocking them out, which will feel completely different. So make sure you kind of work that full range of motion, because it's going to get a different part of that leg. Don't miss anything.
Let's do a deep glute stretch.
Okay. So one leg crossed over top, grab behind that thigh, not in front of that knee, squeeze it in as close as comfortable. Same thing on the other side. Cross that other foot over top. Pull in. You should be feeling this in the glute of the opposite leg you're holding on to. So the one that's crossed over top is the one you should be feeling it in. And bring those knees together. You're going to drop your knees off to the left. Keep your shoulders flat against the ground. Should get a little bit of a torso stretch. Might even get a few vertebrae to pop back into place. Same thing on the other side. Just let it relax, breathe normally. Those muscles stretch. Alright, what are we doing next?
You feel anything else that needs to be stretched?
I could always go into like cobra or shell stretch. Those are always fun to finish off with.
Sounds good.
Alright.
Flip over.
Squeezing into my territory.
Sorry. I don't know how that happened. Actually, I think you might be in line. We met in the middle.
Isn't it pretty much everywhere's Kelly's territory then?
Yeah.
Let's keep those lungs open, stretching that back. Arch it as much as you can. Should feel stretched through a little bit front of that hip flexor, front of that hip, and the lower abdominal muscles, or all the way through that panel of your abdominal muscles.
All right, you want to kick back?
In that child's pose. This is a really good one for if you have a tight back. This kind of lets that spine kind of slowly pull apart a little bit, let it stretch.
Right. You good?
I think so.
Yeah?
Alright guys, that is the end of this 1,000-calorie workout. So if every single one of our 2 million subscribers does this workout, we will have...
That'll be a lot of calories.
Yeah. That'll be what, 200 million, no, 2 billion calories burnt collectively with one workout. So if you've done this workout, make sure you let us know by either...
Leave a workout complete in the comments. If you have made it to this point, congratulations, first off.
Yeah.
Let us know. Leave it in the comments below.
So good job, guys. We hope you like this workout. And we know we're nice and sweaty. We enjoyed it. Until next time, this workout is complete.
Thanks, guys.